Leo, this is your spiritual reading for the month of May. I'm doing a deal here for 100 views on your video. If you gain this, I'll give you a bonus love and sex reading. Or if you want a different, like a general reading or like a work related reading, you can post in the comments below. If you get over 100 hits, I'm going to give you that extra reading. So I'm just trying to open up my viewing circle here a little bit. So if you can like, share with other Leos, whatever, get my videos out there a little more so I can get my traffic a little higher is what I'm trying to do here. So if you could help me with that, it'd be great. Okay, so first card for your reading. From the Gaia deck for Leo, what do we have here? We have the Youth, number 3. To me, this is always a wise soul in a young body. So there may be a youth of significance around you that may be speaking wisely to you, or the sense they're giving me really here with the Leo is that we may be going through a tough time in our life, and we may have children around us that are actually speaking from a higher, older sense of themselves. Like we might be gaining advice from the youngsters, right? That actually makes more sense than anything that's been rumbling around in our mind or people of our age. This is the sense I'm getting. So we may have some wise words coming from a youth to us in our sphere here spiritually. Like someone who's really deep and just is not letting kind of life get them down. They may be speaking to us in a way that is kind of guided, is the sense I get. The next card, the 4 of Air. And this is a card of mental mechanics. And there is a lot of mechanics going on in the Leo's universe here. I feel like we got a lot of stuff rumbling around in our mind at this time. I feel like we may be at a turning point or a jumping off point is what they said, where we kind of don't know where we want to go with our life forward here, and we're trying to figure that all out. So there may be a lot of options or a lot of things in the air. The sense they're giving me is there's a few pieces that have to fall into place before we know exactly what and where we want to go from here. We might have fluxes in our job. We might have fluxes or have had fluxes in our romantic area and are at a point where we can really take off in any direction. But again, I feel like there's going to be some time here before we know exactly where and what we want to do here as we go forward. There's too much up in the air at this point, but there's a lot of thought processes going on to plan. Okay, if this happens, I go here. If that happens, and planning things down the road so we're prepared for anything that hits, right? Or anything that could happen. There's really a lot of thought going into that. Okay. Next card, King of Air, 14 of Air. The first thing they get me to look at is those symbols coming out of the mouth. So there's a sense here we got a lot going on in the mind. So we're out of our element there because we like to take action, but our life is preventing us at this time because there's too much that needs to be put into place before we can take action here. So we're a little more in our head than we normally are used to being, but we are being thorough with it. I feel it's giving us time to plan things way down the road here. Okay, my job's not right, and if I make this decision and I go off in this direction, then I can do this ABC. And then, okay, if I stay with this job and I push for a promotion, then I can go ABC, and then da-da-da. And we're looking at every single scenario, every single puzzle piece that can fall. So I think that the Leo's being really thorough. Now the King of Air, again, there's a need to speak from a lot that's going on in our mind here. Just give me a minute to tap in. It's almost like I feel like further down the road here, the more cards I get, this will open up. But there's a need to speak to someone in particular, is the sense. It may be about work, maybe in, whatever area here. But there's a need to speak from what's going on in our mind. Okay. So we're gonna go down the road here into the chakra deck and see what that has to say. So on the youth, again, I felt like we may be getting some wise words from children that are younger than us. People that are younger than us are speaking from a depth here of being guided. And they're showing me, like this could be a life-changing information that they're giving you, or life-changing speech. And you may ask them, or bring it up 10 or 5 years down the road, and they'll go, oh, I don't remember saying that. But it was a life-changing, pivotal moment for you, but the other person kind of don't remember. That's kind of like a sign of being highly guided. It's almost like something comes out of their mouth. Why? Because they agree with it on some level, but they kind of don't realize they even said it, but it was needed to be heard by the Leo so that they could change their life, this kind of stuff. So I feel like that's what's going on here. Okay, so on top of the youth, we get the Princess of Cups, and that's interesting because I feel like that's the Princess of Cups. She's learning how to use her heart and go outward towards others. She's the princess, so she's been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cups, right? So we've had disappointment. We have something to speak of. But she is learning on her journey how to gain love and affection in herself. But somehow, this is where the words are coming from. We're speaking out of compassion to someone that we have compassion for, this kind of thing. So there's a lot of loving feelings I get from this person. It's really coming from the heart when they say this. And they're also speaking from their own experience and what they've learned in that direction. So I feel like it's a fairly good source here. Even though we may consider them younger, right? Because whenever I get this youth card, there's a lot of wisdom. But a lot of times we look down on the children saying, well, they don't have enough life experience. But they may just know in their gut what needs to be done. Even though they've never experienced it, they may just know, right? And each generation has a little more to offer than the last. So there's a realization here. Okay, on top of the 4 of air, again, a lot of mind mechanics going off here. A lot of thoughts in different directions, scenarios, crossroads. We're at a crossroads here, but again, there's nothing solid that we can jump to, so we got to wait for things to become more solid. On top of that, we get the 8 of coins, and that is really about putting the work in to get to the solid, right? Whether it's relationship or work or life, whatever, there's something here. We got to put more work in order to, one, make a rightful decision. I feel like if we're on the precipice of making an important decision at work, it's almost like we don't know if we're happy here or not. We don't know. We got to put a little more work in and see if this is truly where we... So we may be in a position where we are at a job that's a little different than normal, or we got promoted, or we got switched over to a different department or something. So we need to kind of stay there for a bit in order to really... Is this really where I want to be? So we're going to do that. We're going to put the work in and just see where it takes us. Now on the King of Air... What do we get for the chakra card there? It's a 5 of Wands. Yeah, see, this is... This card here depicts these women. It's pretty low-key for a 5 of Wands. Usually people are bashing others on the head. But there's a sense here of one person being the center of attention here, and all the rest kind of looking at them like they could attack at any minute. Because women, they could be a lot more subtler with their anger. It's not like, man, you say something to me, tick me off at a bar, I'm going to punch you, and that's it. That's the end of it. Women will kind of hold it and harbor it for days. The King of Air, again, there was something that needed to be said. So we may have people around us, this could be at work, could be in life, whatever, that are kind of, what do you call that, bickering? Or nagging, or, there's something coming forth. Now, I do feel like the person we got the information from, there's no bickering there. We may doubt their ability to give good advice, but we know good advice when we hear it, so we take that into account. That person has love and caring in their heart. But over here, we may have people in our circle that are kind of trying to beat us down, is the sense I get. The King of Air, it might be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, that we have problems with, we have struggles with, we have competition with, this kind of thing. So I'm going to carry forward here, and it will illuminate as we go. On top of the Princess of Cups from the Wisdom deck, we have number 32 talking about self-worth. So we have this youth that came from their heart and gave us some advice. The self-worth, I feel like we may be lacking at this time. I feel like if we were in a relationship, it didn't go the way we wanted it to go, or things didn't go, we had something happen here that kind of damaged our self-esteem. Or maybe we just don't know how we are without a partner. So this is where we're sitting. And we may have gotten, the advice that we got from this younger person may have hit our self-esteem a little hard as well. It could just be that. Because I feel like we're at a crux point. Again, work, life, love. It could be in any direction. And because of this, it's making us feel uneasy. We don't have a partner. We don't have a job. We don't have this. This is all part of our self-worth. So there's that. Okay, next row. Again, the mechanics and the 8 of coins. Working hard. And I do feel this is in a job, because Pentacles usually denotes working hard at a job, in order to see where we fit here. On top of that, from the Wisdom, we get 43, which talks about understanding. Yeah. And again, there's a lot going on in the mind here. And there's a lot of pathways we need to understand what's going to happen. A, B, and C have to fall. And it's like we ain't even got A yet. We just got a direction that, okay, work. But we don't even know if this is the job we want to be at. So we can't put C and D down. Da-da-da. So there's a need for understanding in a lot of areas. I feel like it's not just our work, or not just our love, or not just life. Every area has to be kind of revamped here. So there's a need for understanding. And it may be what we want, really. Do we understand what we want? You know, do we know what we want in order to go after it? This may be, okay? That we don't know this. Everything's kind of at a crux point here, is thrown all up in the air, and we just, like I said, we can go in any direction, and we just don't know what direction we want to go. So we got to figure that out first, and then things will start opening up to shoot you in those ways. So on top of this squabbling here, we might have some people around us. We're on air signs here. Again, I feel like we are really in our head about a lot of things. I think partially this is us trying to be less of heart and more of mind, like make a smart decision about where we're going to go, who we're going to be with, this kind of stuff. In doing this, we may be inadvertently ticking some people off. But again, I feel like these are people that are kind of just petty. They're just getting caught up in petty things. They don't want you to succeed or whatever. So these are people, and I feel like you're going to kind of know that. You're going to kind of know they can't be happy about nothing. They may be just negative Nancy's, you know, that kind of thing. This is the sense I'm getting. So we're trying to remove the heart as well to deal with these people in order to carry forward. But nonetheless, the card on there, Wisdom card we have, is High Priestess Spirit. Yeah. Had this in the last reading for Cancer. 7. There may be a point here where the universe is trying to connect with you, along with past loved ones that have energy fields invested in you, and really do come from a core of wanting the best and highest good for you. Are we listening to this? Is the sense that's what they said. Are we listening? We may be hearing, but we may not be acting on the guidance that we get, or the intuition that we get, or the... Because sometimes you can have someone in your life for so long, and they pass away, and then, you know, you go about your days and months and years after that, and you hear them going off in your head, just like they would have if they were still there, and you kind of disregard it as, oh yeah, that's what they used to say when they were alive, da-da-da. But in reality, these people are shouting at you in reality, like they want you to hear this. So my advice to you would be to, the next time you hear that voice going off in that way, take it into your account and look at it, look at your life through that comment. Look at it as if you were going to change in that way and see what, because sometimes people, they really do want you for your highest good. They want you to get to your highest good. And they're trying to guide you in the best way that they know how, and taking that advice might get you there. That's what I'm getting. This is, yeah, someone really trying to channel into you and trying to get you on the right track. So don't just take that as a conversation like that's something, like don't just brush it off. Take it in and see through that lens and see what would happen. Even just to think about what would happen if I took that advice that they told me. And what if I went down that road? What would I do? And drive it home. Like, take it in your mind, because you can go all the way in your mind and just drive that thing right through and see how that makes you feel when you look at it that way. Because I feel like it's a different perspective, and it's one we wouldn't think of on our own, but maybe we need to think in that direction. Maybe we need to go in that way. Maybe we need to open that up. Even though there may be people around us that are trying to keep us stifled, you know, not wanting us to grow or flower or bloom. I think we need to rise above that. So, High Priestess of Spirit is just someone really trying to connect, and also your instinct trying to connect highly to you at this time. And we're in our head, so we're in the right place to hear it. We just hopefully are slowing down. Our life is slow enough that we can, you know, I'm not asking you to meditate, but to slow down and think, really be aware. Okay, I'm getting excited here. Next row on the divine cards, on top of the self-worth. Boy, this card's making its rounds as well. Ace of Swords. A lot of people making realizations here of truths in their life, including the Leo. I feel like we're realizing some truths here. Again, it may not be good for our self-worth, but we can build that back up. That's not a problem. But there was something here that we needed to see the truth about. Princess of Cups. That one might have come to you again. It might have been a youth that come to you and said that, laid it out like that, a truth that you needed to hear for your own good kind of thing, to kind of, boom, get you into reality. So I feel like now that we've got that, it really does empower us, because we're no longer an illusion of things that don't matter, and this did matter, and now we know the truth, and we're going to get grounded in the truth, and we can go forward in our truth. So the Ace of Swords is really about cutting the illusions out of our life at this time. So now we're dealing 100% real, and this is where we're going forward. So kind of like a harsh truth that may have kind of hit us in the wrong way, but again, we'll recover. We're Leo, man. They'll recover, right? Not only that, we were louder and prouder than we were before, so it's all good. Okay, the next row here, talking about understanding. What do we get from the divine? The world. Oh, look at here. So I feel like not only will we work hard to gain our footing, and those puzzle pieces will fall into play, we're going to gain the understanding. Why? Because we have the World card, 21. That's the completion cycle. So any instability that we had in our life, we may have faced a truth. We may have conquered the truth. We may have faced our situation head on and said, okay, I can't deal with this job, I can't deal with this love, I can't deal with it, I gotta go. So we completed the cycle, and no longer are we going to be tortured. No longer are we going to be, not literally, but I mean, where we're keeping things to ourselves, just lay it on the table. I'm not happy here, I don't want it, but I'm out. So now we're free. Now we can do whatever we want, right? So there's a successful completion, and in this card, it's really, they're celebrating, they're dancing under the moonlight, the stars. Everybody's celebrating their success because we've completed. Now we're going to go forward in what we want, truly. Because we may have been living a lie here, is the sense. We may have been living in a life here where we weren't happy from the beginning, and we just didn't know we weren't quite happy, but it got progressively worse to the point that we couldn't deny it, and now we're going to re-up, you know, look at things differently, and now I'm going to go after what does make me happy. So this is good. So on top of the High Priestess of Spirit, which again, I feel like there's ancestors here that are trying to connect with us. And again, the voices, they're trying to reiterate this. They didn't get it the first time. The voices that we hear of our past loved ones in our head screaming at us, they are still the same person. They still have the same kind of motives. They're still trying to get you to do something that you won't listen. Because I'm getting like a stubborn, like my mom used to always say this to me when she was pissed off. Well, it's because they want you to go in a certain way. I feel like you're somewhat following that road anyway, but we're kind of disregarding this repeating. It's like a broken record in our head, but there's something there that needs to be looked at. Like it may be just simply healing from a past of things like your mom used to say, but she was right, but you need to change it, and you didn't think you needed to change it, right? Because Leos can be stubborn as well about things. So this is kind of what I'm getting. It's like, no, there's something in the words that are being looped in this person's head. They're thinking, oh yeah, mom used to say that. But they're not taking into account it still applies today. It still applies today, and it's being brought back because they want you to fix it. Okay, I'm done there. 7. The High Priestess of Spirit, what do we get? We get the 10 of Wands. Yeah, and that's about... This tree is growing out of a sky. Like, we've had enough. We've had enough. We had to break here. And this is the end of the cycle of unhappiness, I feel, for Leo. I think they're finally going to go in ways that, instead of pleasing everybody else, I'm going to start pleasing myself and see how that works. Because they know there's something in there. They know. And they have no idea how much better life can be. And there may be people, again, they're making me highlight this. There may be people around us who don't want that. So beware of that. I think it's going to be very obvious. Because they're going to be the ones that are going to create the most chaos when we try to move forward. So just limit your time with those people as you evolve. I think once you evolve, there's something they can do. But they don't want you to evolve to those points, because then they feel more disconnected. And then somehow they know, there's a part of them knows, that means I have to change, or that means I have to look at possibly changing, and I don't want to do that, right? And the Leo is there going, well, you do what you want to do, I'm going to do what I want to do, and if it don't involve change, and you don't want to change, then you just stay in your corner and don't change. But I'm going my way, because the lion really has the ability to rule, right? They will go where other people won't, and that's the fear. Is there's either a friendship cycle here, somebody in our sphere that really doesn't want us to change at all, and we are amongst change. There's no two ways, and we have had it with the way the life has been. So sorry, we're changing. This is what's happening. The universe is behind, and the Leo is not far off of that. There may be a few ways about how we do this that they may be stuck on, but they have had enough of the way things have been. And the cycle here is really wanting to end. So here we go. This is it. We are changing, and that's that. And we are in and amongst change where we can't possibly stay the same with where we're at. We cannot. We have to change with the time here. So, the Messenger card on top of the Ace of Swords. Do not fear the unknown. Yeah. Yeah. We may have a few question marks, because this is right on top of the truth. Give me a minute here. I feel for the most part, there is not much at this time. I think the Leo has really faced their fears. This whole situation, they've conquered a fear just by being where they're at this time. But in the future, I feel like there's a few more speed bumps here to overcome. And it may be in this friendship circle, or people having to deal with people that are unruly while we're trying to get our life together. They're a little unruly and trying to push and shove us in ways that I think our instinct is going to say no. But Yeah, there's some things we may have to conquer here yet, having to do with spirituality. And I'm saying spirituality, but working on the self and our own issues. This is, I'm looking at the clock, it's 3:33 here. That's highly guided. So I feel like that's a message. Them telling me that, you know, this Leo is highly guided and there ain't much that's... Because they're at a pivotal point in their life where we can either go backwards and do what we did before or worse, or we can go forwards and there's really no backwards. We really know we have to go forward. So I feel like highly guided. So on top of the world, 21, the completion, a celebration that we've hit a milestone in our life here in the way that we've handled it so far. We get to see the truth. There's a lot of truths here. Now this one is see the truth. No, give me a minute. Yeah, we may be in denial of a few things in the future yet. See, this is interesting because it brings that energy back to that youth. There's a youth here that may have some answers yet still in their satchel that they're holding back from us. Like they may have some truths that they want their person to know. That they may not, that Leo may not know yet still. Either about someone or situations or whatnot. And because of this, this may be the don't fear the unknown, like don't fear the truth. The truth is going to come to the surface. It's going to be said. I feel like it may be, this youth may be kind of like the, what do you call that? The bat cage, you know, where you go in there and it just keeps spitting balls out at intervals. This may be that Page of Cups coming at us. They're going to give us one truth, and then next month they're going to give us another, because they've got it all. They know the truth. Someone here knows the truth, and they're going to slowly let it out on the Leo. So, one, they want you to see that and take that in. And also, right, not disregard the source it's coming from, because we do have a sense of wisdom here coming from a younger generational person. And this all has to do with the knowledge that we need in order to go forward clearly. So there might be a little bit of hang-ups there in that area. Okay. On the burden card, again, we were burdened highly. We've had enough of that. We don't want that energy in our life any longer. That's very strong, I feel. Though there's people that want us to kind of go back into scenarios in that way where we are burdened. They may not truly understand how limiting it is for themselves from their point of view, but it's safe for them to see you in the way that they view you, so they try and keep you in that way. They don't want to expand their world any. This is what's going on. So we may have some problems there with that person or people, but we are really being driven by the energies, and the energies are trying to keep us clean from all of this. So on top of that, we get, know your power. And I do feel that the Leo does know their power, and I do feel like they may just kind of look and say, and kind of roll the eyes and, put up with a little bit of a dust storm, but overall, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. They may, because they're showing me like kind of a big flag waving back and forth. They may weeble and wobble, but they don't fall over. That's the kind of thing I'm getting here. Eventually, they're going to make the right decision. Why? Because we've been there. We've done that. Got our ticket, our t-shirt, our boots, and our hat, and off we go. We don't need to go back there and redo it. It's just not going to work for us. So know your power is that you do have a lot of power. And the self-esteem here, we're trying to build it because of what happened, whatever happened that brought us down a notch. And we're going to go forward. Okay. The last row here. I can grab the card. The below card. Do not fear the unknown. What do we get on there as the Fool? Fresh starts. Yes. And this is a really refreshing card. This guy's got... He's got the light in his hand. So, and I do get the sense of that. I do get the sense that we are guided. And not only that, we have a lot to give outward to others. And that may be, again, some people may be jealous of that energy because they may not be able to garner it for themselves. So when they see someone else carrying it, it becomes the little green monster that says, no, no, you can't do that, for fear that you may go somewhere where they can't go with you. Why? Because they're having problems dealing with their life, right? So don't let that happen. I don't think, in the end, I don't think you will, but people will pull you and push you in different directions, right? We will wobble. Won't fall down. So fresh starts abound. Don't fear the unknown. You know, Leo's the line. It's a lot of courage there. So they can, you know, they may kind of be shaken, but they're going to open the door. They're not going to run from it. They're not going to, you know, they're shaking a little bit in their knees, but they're going to open the door. And that's really what I feel here. And that's just to the phase of us getting our self-esteem back. You know, and if we're knocking on the knees, it may be going into a completely new job, but we're going to go. Or maybe knocking on the knees in order to get into a new love, but we're going to go, right? We're going to try it out, that kind of thing. See the truth. What do we get there? Material and spiritual gifts. We get the 9 of water. This is a really good card. This woman's in a, you know, lotus literal pose, and she is trying to gain love, peace, and happiness. This is a really fruitful card. And this is really, I feel like, where the Leo is sitting here. It's time for me to gain what I want. What do I want? I can have anything at this point. And they're going, and don't limit ourselves, by the way, because we do. We have everything to live for and go for. But so we don't want to start going back on lessons we learned, So we may have material things coming at us through a job. We may get that raise. We may strive for a raise and get it. We may, you know, wish for a job and suddenly it appears for us. Or a love, or whatever. And spiritual gifts as well. Intuition, insight, connecting with loved ones. I feel highly the Leo is doing this. Not realizing they're getting it as like a rerun of my life with this person, but it's like, no, we're actually communicating with them. And you ever try talking back instead of just laughing? Because it's kind of like going to dinner. They're showing me from the other side, okay? So say we had a best friend that died unexpectedly or at an early age, and back in the day they would have said all this stuff, and so suddenly we remember them saying that to us in the daily, and we kind of just laugh and go, yeah, and then carry on. How boring would it be if we went to dinner and this is what happened with everything that we were saying? It was like we're not validated. That's how that spirit feels. So give in and actually answer what they're saying, or talk back to them and see what happens, because you may be surprised at what you get. Because I feel like this person is going, how boring is it that I just get yeah, you know, like they don't interact, not interacting with that. So some people think that's crazy. I don't. I think that's again, you'll be surprised at what you can learn there. And it's a whole other world that a lot of people just don't tap into. So I feel like the Leo's being awoken to that. The door's opening for that. And they just got to learn to realize that that is real. And it is not just your imagination. So that's your spiritual gifts. Material, those are coming as well. And again, I get a lot of us pampering ourselves, because our energy has had a drastic shift. And because of that, where we came from, we didn't have a lot of time for ourselves. We had no time for ourselves. In fact, like that was to our detriment. And now we have all this time to ourselves. So guess what? It's different. And we may be showering ourselves with gifts because of what we went through. And this is all good and great and wonderful. So material and spiritual gifts, all good. And know your power. On top of that, we get 7 of water, justice again. Know your power is justified. It's really what I get here. And there's a lot of ancient power that's trying to come forth here in the Leo, and I'll tell you, it's going to be there, whether your friends want it to or not. You know, and there's justified. There's reasons you're getting it. It's because you earned it. You know, doing what you did so far. So a lot of justified energy coming in the way of the Leo, and it really powerful stuff, because again, it's time for them to go to, they're happy, and they're trying to figure out where that is. They're putting work and effort in this, to do this, and it's going to come and show up for them. So it's just, everything's going to fall in their plate, in their lap, into place, da-da-da. Okay, the bumper card. So we have the Power of Surrender card for the Leo is surrender to your soul's path. How pertinent is that? I love it. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So this is very pivotal time in your life, and we do realize the gravity here. We're trying to lighten it up because other people around us are in that mode, but we do realize the gravity, and in moments it hits us, in moments, and that's all that they want you to do, is to realize. Where we are, how much we've earned up to now, and how different our life can be as we move forward. And we did it for ourselves. And they said we have to remember that. Nobody did it for us. Nobody created this but us. And we deserve to go forward in the way that we want to. So, that was heavy. Sorry. Big energy drop they give me. It's hard to express, but it's basically they hit you in the heart zone, and you feel the gravity of it. That's what I get. Okay. So yeah, so to be proud of where you're at, and to not see it as a negative, but as a positive, and I think we do overall. We feel a great unburdening, absolutely, because the 10 of Wands is dropping all those. And, you know, now we can go free and clear, and we got all this energy to go. So it's all good. Embrace every lesson in every moment. Okay, the angel card I get for you is Michael. Talking about safety, that's a new one. So I'll read from the book here and see what we got here. Okay, safety. This card reassures you that Michael's protective energy is with you and your loved ones at this time. The powerful, assertive, masculine energy field that he emanates provides a shield against any energetic forms that are vibrating on a lower frequency. It is a time for you to move forward with courage based on this protection, knowing that Michael as a gatekeeper will only attract trustworthy people and events into your life. So just to be, you know, kind of acknowledge that in the morning when you wake up, is that, you know what, I am protected from lower vibrational. That can create the shield itself, really. Just that acknowledgement. Anyway, I'll continue. Have no worries for the safety of loved ones of your home, or your home. Sorry. Yeah, I'll read that again. Have no worries for the safety of loved ones or your home. You have the divine sentinel in attendance. For those engaged in psychic studies and spiritual practices, such as channeling, always ensure that you have asked for the presence of Michael to create a safe and protected safe space for you to work. I find it interesting that he's talking about channeling, because I was getting that highly. That there are energies from the other side trying to connect with you, and we're hearing it. Acknowledging it, but not communicating with it. Not interacting with it, but going, oh, I hear the voice, okay, yep, and carry on, and just kind of disregarding. That's what I get. So that's interesting that they bring it up in this card. Now, the planet that he works with here is Mercury, and that rules communication and associated with fast and expressive action. And I was getting that from the King of Air. There's someone that we need to communicate with. Unfortunately, that's in the area where all the fighting energy is, right? Squabbling. So there may be someone we might have to create a boundary with in that way. Nonetheless, I'll finish the sentence here. So communication and associated with fast pace and expressive action that is a consequence of careful thought. Use its energy in communicating and connecting with others in a structured way. And that's the sense I get too, is that we may have to create a boundary with these people that are trying to keep us stagnant. Because really, I feel like it's just them trying to do that because they feel a threat from you. And it's not a deliberate threat. It's a threat like, no, excuse me. It's a threat like, if they go forward and evolve, I can't go with them, so I'm gonna miss them, and da da da. It's a desperation thing, and so somewhere inside they know that, and somewhere inside they also know, I don't want to evolve. I don't want to work to make my life better. I don't want to. I know I'm gonna stay here, and I know so they just want a companion to stay. And it's like, you're going to have to kind of say, I'm sorry, but I'm moving on. You can keep in touch with me if you like, but, this kind of thing. But again, the energies here with Michael coming out about safety, they may just protect you from this person at a lot of points, meaning this person trying to get in touch with you, it's not going to happen. There's going to be blocks. Either you can't because you're busy, or they can't because they're busy, and also take that into account. That is really universal energy trying to stop you from a energy match. Okay, I'll explain. They want me to explain this. These are things that happen to me all the time, and I'm sometimes just, okay, slow down. Things that happen to me all the time, because I'm informed, I know what's going on. They tell me. I know what it's about. I don't push against it. Now, if you have someone you're hanging out with, a casual person, friend, whatever, and all of a sudden, before this energy drop, before your life changed, okay? You used to hang out with them all the time. We'd always get together, and it'd be easy. Nobody'd have other things. We'd always just end up in each other's field. And now that you are evolved, okay? This will show to you, illuminate to you, the people that are of lower vibration, that are no longer vibrating at your frequency. Suddenly you go, they say, oh, we should get together. Are you free on Saturday? Like, no, I got to work Saturday from 4 to 3. Oh, I only had time from, that time to that. Okay, well, maybe next week. Okay, yeah, get a hold of me next week. So they try and get a hold of you the next week, and guess what? We can't seem to make it work. So then we keep trying to to me, I go twice, that's it. There's 2 strikes, you're out. Because the first time is like, okay, anybody could be kind of off the first time. Second time, if I get a same breach like that, I don't go. It's like, okay, that person's not agreeing with me, or, their energy's not agreeing with me. I'm not meant to see them. So away we go. That's how I take it, and that's how you need to understand that those are the people that are no longer in your energy field. Just so you see that. Doesn't mean that they're evil, doesn't mean that they're whatever, but just to let you know, these are the people that are no longer resonating. So when you start growing and they start causing a fuss, know that that's why. Because they're not on the same frequency field, and, they're not liking that, but they're not doing anything to rise up to your frequency, and that's what they need to do, and maybe they refuse to do, da da da. So this is where you might come in some conflict. So what they're telling me here with Michael is highly watching you, and he is making sure that you are clear energetically so that you can advance, because they're wanting you to advance. They're protecting you to advance. Once you advance, then you can choose to go back and do it again. But you're going to realize, because then you're going to see more clearly why. Oh yeah, this is why. Suddenly, things are different. Things change, okay? So your fortune card. Look at that. Wow, death. Time of natural transition and transformation, and that's really what I see here for the Leo. It's very obvious. There's a soul path here that's evolving you, that's stepping you up, pulling you out of the darkness. We went 50%. The universe is now going to show their other 50% on the other side of here, and 2 of us together are going to make the future the way we want it to be, because for the highest good of the Leo, really. And again, there might be some realizations about friends or people in our social circles that we might have to evolve into. Meaning, we may be noticing that we don't have as much in common with these people anymore, or we may notice that we were somewhat dependent on them, or whatever, or we don't quite get along with them like we used to. These realizations are going to happen. So, transition, it's here. It has happened for the most part, and there's more to come. We are safely protected. Our soul's path is unfolding as we speak, and there's a new beginning that wants to start. There's material and spiritual gifts, and also a balancing of your life that wants to happen, and it's all great, good, and wonderful, because the road is open, and it's all free and clear from here. So Leo, that's your spiritual reading. That's probably the best one so far. I have 2 more to go, Sagittarius and Capricorn, but I'm pretty sure this would be the best one of the bunch. You really are going to be a guiding light for many, and unfortunately there's certain people that can't deal with that around you, but you'll be illuminated quite highly to who those are, and just don't let it stop you, and I don't think you will. So Leo, take care, have fun, and be kind, and we'll see you next month. Again, yeah, if you want a love sex reading as a bonus, increase the views to 100. How do I do that? Share with other Leos, or share simply to get word out, to watch the videos, that kind of thing. And if you get your videos, either your sun, moon, or rising, whatever, into the 100 or over, then I will put out a bonus love and sex video. So, okay, take care, have fun, and be kind.